Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Really excited to be here in Tel Aviv for Blockchain Week. Teck, thanks so much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
So I just wanted to jump right into it. Thank you. I just wanted to jump right into it and sort of talk about your story, how Binance X came to be and the evolution.
Binance X is a very new initiative at Binance. We launched about 3 weeks ago. It is a developer-focused initiative to foster innovation and the developer ecosystem around the Binance platform. And you might be wondering what the Binance platform is. It is a collection of products and services that are developer-facing. So if you think about our exchange, Binance.com, we have a set of APIs where people have been programming against, and we're expanding that to margins and futures very soon. And then earlier this year, we launched a public chain called Binance Chain with a native DEX functionality. Sometimes people refer to it as Binance DEX. That is, something developers can develop on, and we have an RFP where we solicit, projects that would be useful for the Binance Chain community. And then last year, in July, we acquired this wallet called Trust Wallet, which is an open source ERC20 wallet, which is now expanded to support many other chains, including Bitcoin and many other non-Ethereum chains. And that's a direct result of them open sourcing the Trust Wallet Core SDK. And then we have one thing that is not typically known as a developer platform, but it's Binance Charity Foundation, which actually tracks donations, not just our donation, but donations for other foundations as well. That tracks donations to the last beneficiary using the blockchain. That's also a platform where developers can collaborate with BCF to kind of enable such a tracking of charitable donations. So those are the things that make up the Binance platform.
So in your mission statement, you say that you're looking to provide key infrastructure for the new crypto economy. I want to touch base on what you think the key infrastructure is and the crypto economy, where it is today and where you think it's going to go.
Yeah, infrastructure is whatever, to be honest, infrastructure is whatever that makes it easy to build stuff and go to market and deliver value to the end user. And that is anything from tooling, developer tooling, blockchain itself, the exchange, of course, is an important piece of it, and that's our core product. And there might be many other things that would fall under this category of infrastructure. I think it's anything that is the entire blockchain stack, right? And different people have different perspective of what the stack looks like. I think Ethereum has a certain perspective. Web3 folks has a different perspective. But at the end of the day, it's whatever that helps the developer at the top of the stack deliver value to the end user. That's how I kind of see it. So I don't have a strict definition, but that's the abstract version of how I perceive. What was the second question?
Crypto economy, where it is today, and where you think it will go.
So I think, if you go back to, first principles of crypto and why we're doing this, and crypto enables, people to, first of all, hold value with our counterparty, and it allows people to transact without a middleman in a trustless manner without having to trust the counterparty. And it's also with the blockchain, it's openly accessible, so anyone can participate in transacting with each other. So those three principles enable new things to happen, including disrupting current ways that things are done. So it's cutting out middlemen. Hopefully, that means that services, current services, could be cheaper, faster, and all that stuff, and more global. And then, in my mind, I hope that there are more crypto native use cases that come out of these three principles that we haven't seen yet. So that's how I kind of see how things will evolve. Yeah.
So I feel like you have a really good bird's eye view of the ecosystem. I see you at almost every hackathon. around the world. And I know that you've been talking to different companies trying to get them part of the Binance X. In doing so, what's the pattern you see right now and what's being built and what was built and hopefully things we need?
Ultimate goal, for Binance X is really to enable developers to find that use case or use cases that take hold with the masses or could deliver value propositions to the masses that people would just adopt crypto without even having to learn crypto because it's just derived the benefits of crypto directly. Personally, I don't know what those use cases are because if I knew, it would have happened, I would build it and I would be here. But I think I want to be part of the enabling process, and Binance X is formed really, in large part to enable that to happen. And we have programs under Binance X, one of which we started in April, which is called the Binance X Fellowship Program, which are open source grants or grants for open source development, where you give out pretty much free money. The only requirement is that whatever you produce has to be open source and available to other developers or users to use. And that is kind of inspired by the fact that in other industries like web, mobile, and other previous technology disruption, you always have a lot of building blocks that developers can use to cobble things together and immediately go to market without having to build from scratch everything. We want that to happen in blockchain space.
So it sounds like you're saying you like an ecosystem of interoperability.
That is one of them, yeah.
Okay. So looking back at your history, you were product manager at Facebook, and you focused on mobile apps, doing install ads, and mobile platform work.
Yeah.
I feel like there's probably a lot of lessons you learned from being a product manager at Facebook,
right,
working specifically within the mobile ad space,
right,
and the correlations to blockchain and the crypto ecosystem.
Right.
What are you applying from then to what you're working on now?
So my experience with Facebook was really interacting with third-party developers because I was working in a platform team which is largely external facing. It's all the products that developers will use to integrate Facebook with their products. And part of it is delivering value to the developers and them delivering value back to Facebook as a very synergistic relationship. I try to replicate that with Binance as well, where we provide some value to them and they in turn provide value either to the ecosystem or to Binance itself. I think Binance is a unique position where, because we're an exchange, we have like 400 or 500 pairs on the exchange.
Yeah, I was making sure not to mention exchange at all. I learned from Flora's talk at DNDD not to ask questions.
I think we can talk about exchange, but maybe not regulation, which is not my thing. But my point was that if the ecosystem does well, regardless of which chain or which project or whatever, if any project in the ecosystem finds product market fit and finds massive adoption, the whole space will just moon, including us, right? It's like the rising tide lifts all boats, and we're one of the bigger boats, and we'll rise together. So that's kind of our philosophy.
That's awesome. Now, are there any roadblocks you foresee right now?
I always the limit test for me is really the number of developers, the number of passionate developers in this space, regardless of the price or whatnot. Roadblocks is like the talent, I think. Talent is always the driver for innovation. The more talent you have in the space, the more likely you're going to find that.
Are we looking in the right places for the talent?
Yeah. You mean physical locations or?
I mean physical locations, doing the hackathons.
Yeah.
Are we being creative enough to attract the developers in the ecosystem?
I think we could be more creative. I think we're in the right places geographically, and we are, there's a blockchain week at any point in time, anywhere, some place on Earth, right? I mean, as you know, in crypto. So we have a lot of activities to engage developers or blockchain enthusiasts. I think we have enough of that. I think maybe we need to find more ways to kind of get people excited about blockchain again, regardless of the price. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think that potentially going across to different ecosystems that we could work together to bring more people in?
Yeah. I think a lot of us developers and even non-developers get into space because it's such a fascinating, cryptocurrency is a fascinating thing, right? It encompasses so many disciplines to make this work, right? Economics, game theory, distributed systems, cryptography, all that stuff, computer science, programming languages, verifications, all that stuff. So if you're intellectually curious, most people, go in the rabbit hole, like, learning about Bitcoin, and now there's so many things to learn. I think we can engage those intellectually curious people, regardless of what they feel about cryptocurrency. Engage them at that level. If you're intellectually curious, come in, join us to kind of build and open their eyes to the things that could impact the world with what we're doing here. So
yeah, I mean, it's every time I've talked to you, you've always been really sincere and really nice, and I see that relying to the open source grants and inviting anyone in any ecosystem to build underneath you guys. If I wanted to learn more about your grants, how can I contact you, or where can I read about it?
Yeah, we have a website, a brand new website called BinanceX.dev, D-E-V, or hit us up with the folks with the Binance shirt. They're all real Binance employees. Yeah, so hit them up. We are very open. We typically engage, we love to engage developers. We love to kind of discuss with them what's needed and what is interesting to build and all that stuff. So yeah.
And then any last advice to any early developers or late stage developers in the ecosystem? And then after your last advice, maybe a closing idea, and then we'll open it up to the audience for questions.
So I think I've been through, I live in Silicon Valley, I've been through a few technology disruption cycles, and things never happen linearly. And that's one thing I learned, right? So you think that you can reason about things and just progress like A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, takes 5 steps, and the 6th step would be like profit and whatever, It never happens this way, regardless at a micro level and a macro level. So I think you just have to do something you're passionate about. When stay the course. When you're developing something in blockchain. You want to be driven by your passion, driven by your curiosity, and ignore the noise and just stay the course. A lot of things, if you go back in history, it's like there's always a trough of disillusionment, and then there's a inflection point because 3 things happen at the right time, and that's usually how the technology disruption happens. So if you've been through a few of these, you're okay at this point. So that's my kind of advice, and yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Teck. Anyone have any questions?
Hi.
Hello.
So hi, and I'm from Israel.
Yeah.
So we have specific criteria for the developers you bring in. Is it only work as a grant that grab the source code and shows what you got, and if you got something interesting, we'll give you the grant? Or are you also looking for developer teams that are building something and you want to bring them onto the Binance ecosystem?
We're open-minded. We're all the above. One thing I realized that things that kind of blow up, especially in consumer space, come out of left field a lot of times, and most of the time, actually. So you can never reason about those things. You have to just be open-minded. So that's why at Binance X, we kind of optimize for talent and passion more than anything else. You come an idea, we're very open-minded, we'll discuss it with you. If we have seen the idea before that has failed several times, we'll, of course, we'll tell you why it failed, but then we're still like, hey, a lot of ideas got recycled from previous failures, but they succeed at the right time, when they're at the right place and the right time. So anything can happen. So we optimize for talent and passion for our fellowship program, at least.
And what are the grants that you're offering? Sorry.
The grants? It's monthly stipend over 3 months, and then renewable after that. Yeah.
I'm from Corona. What do you think about the traditional stock market and the crypto stock market? Do we have a trend where it's going to be something functioning, like one place, the stocks and cryptocurrencies are both investment vehicles. Like it's basically maybe it's the same. What do you think?
I think I don't speak for Binance. I think I speak for a lot of people in crypto where they feel like that's going to converge towards one thing with crypto, where it's a worldwide market. Like today, I think a lot of you want to buy Apple stock, it's really hard it's listed in one place, very hard for people in Africa to buy Apple stock. So it's not open access kind of thing. I think crypto allows that to happen. Why shouldn't someone in Africa own Apple stock if they wanted to, right? So that's generally a good thing. So I think if crypto enables that to happen, all power to it. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.